Hello and welcome to March's blog. Oh, this month, I'm so excited. As you can see already behind me, what we're focusing on, the books to review this month is on parenting, getting it right. And it's by Andy, and Sandra Stanley. So I've reviewed one of his books before. I think you may have remembered a couple of years ago now. So, I'm no stranger to his works, but it'll be interesting to see what a joint effort of this pastor and his wife have made in producing this book. So without further ado, I'm just going to go dive straight in. Parenting, Getting It Right by Sandra and Andy Stanley. Okay. Right. So it's a Harper Christian Resources publishing, okay, from what I can see. Okay, it also says there's streaming video access instructions. So in other words, it forms part of a book, but you also get a video that can go with it. So it literally is in the structure of a workshop as well. So it's very proactive you have to be with this. And I just feel that this topic, the reason why I think I wanted to focus on that this month, because I think it's very, very important. Our children are our future, are the future, and the way we bring them up and how we nurture them. And they're one of our most precious resources and commodities that God has provided and put in our care. And so it's kind of vital to bring them up correctly. And I just really wanted to see his take on this particular subject. I mean, there's hundreds of books out there right now on parenting, but I think from a Christian perspective and from a man, obviously, and his wife, who can see it from both sides of the coin, who've been obviously married for a number of years and have children, it's kind of interesting to see how they view it. Okay. So there's also an ebook as well, I can see it's saying. And in this ebook edition, it says, please use your device's note-taking function to record your thoughts wherever you see the bracketed instructions, your notes or your response here. It says here, use your device's highlighting function to record your response whenever you are asked to check mark, circle, underline, or otherwise indicate your answers. So pretty much gives you good instructions there. And I just really want to just focus now on the actual body, the contents of this particular book and what it actually looks at. So it first of all starts off introducing that you've got streaming video access as well, and the books and instructions which we've just gone through. And then there's an introduction, okay, which we'll go through in a moment, and then how to use this guide, okay. And then it says session 1, your North Star. It's the first chapter. Your North Star, so that's interesting. And session 2, the 4 stages of parenting. Session 3, the role of words. And session 4, marriage matters. Session 5, establishing rules and consequences. Session 6, developing a faith of their own. And then finally, it gives you a leader's guide. So it's obviously a book which can be used by leaders in their church to counsel married people who raise, parents who are raising children. I would stress not just married folk, but obviously there are a lot of single parents who happen to be present in many churches. So this obviously applies to them also. Okay, moving swiftly on. We've done the contents. Let's see, well, what are we left with now? Okay, so the introduction, and this is what it states. Parenting is a whirlwind. It constantly requires you to figure out what's needed. Okay. And what's needed keeps changing. Okay. With babies, you learn how to feed, burp, change, bathe, clothe, and console. You learn how to help them sleep through the night and how to make them smile. You talk to other parents, read all the books, and take the classes. But experience is often the best teacher. And no matter how much you learn or how well you figure things out, a question lingers in the back of your mind. Am I doing it right? Yeah, I think a lot of parents can relate to that. Okay, so as your children grow and develop, you figure out new skills to meet the needs of each age and stage. Just when you feel confident that you've mastered one task, something new and unexpected pops up. Even after your kids mature through adolescence and make that long-awaited entry into adulthood, you're still on the sidelines, cheering them on and praying they've acquired what it takes to thrive on their own. Regardless of how young or how old your child may be, that initial disquieting question always returns. Sometimes you're pretty sure that you've got the parenting thing under control. Other times, you feel like a failure. Most of the time, though, you wonder, should I be doing more, less, something else entirely? Am I doing this right? When it comes to your kids, you don't want to wonder. You want certainty, confidence, and clarity about how to excel as the parent of the children, gifted into your care. So if there's an area or one area of life you want to get right, that's parenting. Okay. So that's why you're beginning this video study on parenting. As you'll discover, getting it right depends on how you define your it. The goal, okay, of your parenting, so it says the goal of your parenting, then whilst I blow this up, right. Often in the midst of the crazy, 1 minute, it's hard to pause and think about what the end goal actually is. It's easy and far more intuitive just to drift in the direction of what we already know, how our parents parented, or we simply focus on immediate behaviours and outcomes like safety, obedience, achievement, success, or the fulfilment of our own deferred dreams. Whether you're aware of it or not, you are parenting in a direction. If you don't hit pause and consider the direction of your parenting, you may one day realize that you parented in the wrong direction, a direction you would not have chosen had you stopped long enough to choose. In life and in parenting, direction determines destination. The direction you choose consciously or unconsciously will largely determine your children's destination. The direction you choose for your parenting has the potential to affect your kids' emotions. Okay. Right, so now we're brought to this next section. That's the end of the introduction. It says how to use this guide. As you'll discover throughout the study, defining your goals for parenting and moving toward them require engaging with others, as well as time alone for processing and applying what you have learned. As Andy and Sandra make clear in parenting and in the video teachings of this study, they don't have all the answers or promises to make you a perfect parent. They do have practical, I'm assuming the next word is going to be examples, which I think is quite clearly illustrated here. And obviously they are an authority, being parents themselves. Okay. Raising 3 children and a bit of professional experience as pastors, teachers, and leaders. Learning from them and the others in your group can make you a better parent as you move forward to predetermined destination. This study is designed to facilitate your journey. Each session in the parenting video study begins with a mixer question, followed by the video teaching before diving into some direct discussion with your group. Even though you'll find a number of questions provided to facilitate your group discussion, don't feel like you have to use them all. Your leader will focus on the ones that resonate with your group and guide you from there. The final component of each group session is called Process Your Parenting. This is where this study might diverge from other studies you've done. Your group will engage in some practical exercises designed to bring the parenting home to you. Hopefully, you'll find them fun and helpful. After each session, there's a personal study with 3 more opportunities to engage with the content of parenting during the week. The personal study includes a section to help you reflect on a passage from scripture called Pause, a section on exploring and applying ideas from parenting called Pursue, and an activity to help you put what you're learning into action called Practice. You are invited to do at least one of these activities between sessions, and to use this study guide to record what you learned. Starting in session 2, it says, there will be time before the video teaching to check in and share the previous week's activity and process your experiences as a group. If you're able to complete the between sessions exercises or are new to the group, don't worry. Hearing what others have learned will be rewarding enough. Finally, remember that this is an opportunity to explore new ways of considering what it means to be the best parent you can be. The videos, discussions, and exercises are all intended to equip your mind and empower your heart, so you're inspired to try things on your own and adapt them for parenting your children. So let's get started. And it says a little note there. It says, if you are a group leader, there are additional instructions and resources in the back of this guide to help you lead your members through the study, because some of the activities require materials and setup. Make sure you read this over ahead of time so you will be prepared. Okay, so that's instructions for all you are going to get the book and share it with your church or people you know. Next. Right. Okay, so the next part is the introduction sessions. We've done the introduction, sorry, we're set on session 1 now, which is entitled Your North Star. Interesting. I was curious when I read that. I thought, what does that mean? Okay, your relationship with your children is determined by the law of the harvest, not the last-minute urgency of the final exam, which means you ought to prepare, doesn't it? That's kind of saying it, isn't it? Okay, big bold pretty says, welcome. Before satellites and GPS, before travel apps and Google Maps, navigation often relied on a celestial system. For centuries, sailors, navigators, and travelers used the stars to help guide their journeys, in particular the North Star, or Polaris. To use its proper name, while Polaris isn't the brightest star on any given night, it's often easy to identify no matter where you are in the Northern Hemisphere. And it holds a unique, relatively fixed position, providing immediate orientation for the direction north. The reliability and consistency of the North Star have made it a popular, long-standing metaphor as well. Whether a North Star, okay, okay. Whether a North Star refers to goals, values, destinations, or moral principles. Knowing your North Star provides greater perspective and points you in the right direction. It reminds you of the longer journey and not merely your immediate location. Interesting. That's true. Often we feel we're in a hurry and, You need patience and obviously to plan for the future, not just the immediate bit. It's a long journey, it's a process. Keeping your North Star in sight prevents you from getting distracted by obstacles and problems that might take you off the course. It allows you to set and maintain your direction over the long haul. Having a North Star for parenting serves the same purpose. Your North Star is the it you want to get right to ensure that your children receive the love, attention, provision, and wisdom you have to offer. Okay, too often you may overlook the need of a guiding goal because of the daily demands and demanding challenges of parenting. But that's all the more reason to take time to look at the long view and establish a parenting North Star, which is our starting point for this first session. Next, it says start in bold print. If you or any of your group members are just getting to know one another, take a few minutes to introduce yourselves. Then, to get things started, discuss the following questions. Have you ever established a North Star in parenting? Excuse me for this. Okay. Children. Okay, of course. And if so, how has it helped you stay on course? Well, I think a lot of you thinking about that will most probably feel, well, no, we've never heard of it before today, but now you know what it's about. And I'm hoping it will make you curious enough to want to find out more. It then stops with a big bold print. It says, watch video, 21 minutes. It's 21-minute video that literally obviously you insert at this point. And it says, play the video segment for section 1. Use the streaming video access provided with the study guide. As you watch, use the following video notes to record any thoughts or concepts that stand out to you. Parents often wonder, am I doing it right? Your response here, it says it literally has a gap there for you to put it in. And it says to get it right, you have to determine your it. Then it says your response there again. Okay, moving on. It then states, direction determines destination. The direction you choose, consciously or unconsciously, will largely determine your children's destination. And again, you have a little space, you've got to put your response there. If you don't define and choose your it will be chosen for you, okay? Wise words. And then it leaves a little gap, and then you've got to put your response in. Caught up in the whirlwind of parenting without a North Star, you usually react rather than lead toward a predetermined destination. Then again, it leaves a little space for you to put your response. So far, a lot of wisdom I think we're getting from this. Okay, moving on. Okay, after you put your little insertion or your comment, it says here, our parenting goals was to raise kids who enjoy being with us and with each other, even when they no longer have to be. Well, isn't that everybody's goal? It's lovely. It's nice to get them off your hand, but at the same time, you don't want them to be like enemies or, you've obviously grown attached to them over the years and you just want the best of them. You also want to be around them as well at some point. I hope that's how a lot of you parents feel. If not, perhaps it's something you may want to think about and consider, is it healthy not to feel that way, So we parented with the relationship in mind. Then it says, then it leaves a little space for you to put your response in again. Then it says your relationship with your children is determined by the law of the harvest, not the urgency of the daily demands. Then it leaves a little space again for your response. Rather than cultivating codependency, develop independence, an essential ingredient for mutually satisfying relationships. Totally in agreement with that. I think a lot of you parents feel that way too. I think so far it's so much on point, what I'm reading here. And certainly if I was a parent myself, I certainly would be following these principles. Then again, there's another little space for your response, and it says, parenting with the relationship in mind leads to better relationships. Wise words. Then another little space for you to put your response there. Okay, your children do not have the same relationship with you that you have with them. Another space for you to put your response. And I can imagine some of you sitting down there jotting little notes down at this point and literally putting your response and what you think about what I've just said. So we should always choose our words with our role in mind rather than our children's size, age, or reaction in mind. Yes, I think definitely. Okay. Let's see what he says next. All right. So, yep, there's another little space for your response. Okay. And it then says, never argue with your children. You are their parent, not their peer. Okay, that's true. That's true. You don't want to stoop to their level because they're not as mature, hopefully, as you are, in a sense. And obviously, if they are, then that's a blessing as well, in a sense. But what we're saying is we're hoping that you, as an adult, are mature enough to know when you shouldn't be arguing with your children, when you are. So again, a little space there for your response, and the unavoidable tension between a parent and their children builds relational strength. And then another space is left for your response. Then a big bold title, group discussion. So it literally gives you a little pausing time now we can discuss all your response. And no doubt you're going to be obviously revealing and sharing what you've commented about at each point. So when the discussion starts, you can actually say what you thought, which is a really good thing, because I think a lot of time you get together in a group and you watch a video and you're expected to maintain or retain everything that you've watched without really jotting everything down, or you won't think to jot these points down. And then when you're asked to discuss it afterwards, you're thinking, well, I don't know, I can't remember much about it, about the video. I don't know what I think, really. I never really had a chance to think about it. And then you're thinking at the time when you should be discussing. So I can see the logic in why they've arranged it that way. So then begins a group discussion. It says, next, as you consider what you just watched, use the following questions to discuss with your group members these ideas, their basis and their applications in your life. Yeah. When it comes to parenting, how often have you wondered, am I doing it right? How often do you second guess your decisions as a parent? Then it leaves a space for your response. Okay. How would you describe the direction of your parenting until now? How do you think your children might describe it? And then another little space for you to put your response. Then the third question, would you describe your parenting style as more reactive or, I think I know what the next word is going to be, but I don't want to guess. So let's just be sure. I think I missed that word. I think it's or proactive. Okay, so your response again is there, but I think you double check that when you actually get the book. Okay, so your response, it says there. And then question, oh, there it is, reactive or more deliberate. Sorry, wait, there it is, question 3. So would you describe your parenting style as more reactive or more deliberate? And then why? Okay, then it leaves a little space again for you to put your little response in. And then question 4, which continues, is how does parenting with the relationship in mind resonate with the direction you want to take your family? And obviously a space for your response. And they're very, very good questions. They're very probing questions. And obviously they will pull out of you a lot of things that you should be thinking about, even if you didn't realize you should be thinking about it. But I think a lot of people, a lot of parents will resonate with this book. I really encourage you to get it because I'm really fascinated by it. It's certainly one I would certainly pick up. It was a case that I was preparing myself to parenting. And I think a lot of you people also, I think on a spiritual level, when you call yourself a father of people that you're shepherding, say, for instance, or that are following mentoring, in that sense, it'd be helpful, most probably this book for you if you're going to do that. But I always have this thing where I say I read the Bible, and it does state quite clearly for a fact that it states don't have any, call anyone your spiritual father just because there's only one father, the one in heaven. And I firmly believe that because I don't think anybody loves you as much as God does. But on that note, I'm going to end this month's this book review, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please, please, please do leave your review at the bottom beneath this video. Leave a comment if you're on YouTube, or if you're on my website, on the ministry website. If you can just leave a comment, that'd be really good, just to have a feedback about what you think. If you read the book, I'm going to get it. What do you think about what I just said during this session? That's the general things I'm just really asking you to do. Well, I hope you enjoyed this month's. Look out for next month's with another exciting book that I'm going to review. But so far, so good. 3 fabulous books leading us into the year 2023, all of them inspiring and wonderful. And I hope we've given you food for thought today. Okay, so until next month, have a blessed month. Bye-bye.